Right, here we go. Saying goodbye today. Advanced notifications, standings, breaking news, advanced notifications, standings, breaking news, advanced. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It's episode number 100, and today we are returning with the series finale, part 1, if you will. Yes, today we are taking an in-depth look at the save, one last look at the save, where I'll show you what's been going on under the hood of the save, a more detailed look at the stats, and also what's been going on across Europe as well, who's been winning what, and just one final goodbye to what has been one of my favourite career modes in recent years. I've loved this save, I really have. It's going to be sad to say goodbye, but I think the time's right. Let's get straight to it. So no other place to start really than with our phenomenal Chelsea side. We assembled this in 2 years, and of course there were players we inherited here that remain. Obviously Pulisic and Dembele, Reece James, Mason Mount, Mendy, all in the first team right here, and obviously Havertz, who's in the resis as well because of his injury, are all players that we inherited when we took over with Chelsea. I think the change we made in just 2 years, Cucurella coming in and nailing down a starting left-back role. All of our new centre-backs here are new. Obviously, because I just said they're new. All of our centre-backs here are new. Martinez coming in for this year, being the top scorer in the Premier League. Declan Rice coming in as well. This is a great Chelsea team, and I put the emphasis on bringing back former academy graduates. They were just absolutely massive for us in these 2 years. It's a great Chelsea team. We stay with the 5-2-3, though of course this year did have an alternate system in the 4-3-3 holding, but I love the team. It's got great depth to it. There's some really exciting young talent in this side as well. It's just a brilliant team. To assemble it in 2 years, I'm pretty proud of what we built here at Stamford Bridge. And as I show you the stats of the players, I am quite sad I'll never get to properly use Hector Busquets and Marcel de Koning. Oh, they could have been absolute stars in this save. Busquets is now 83 overall on loan at Sevilla, but yeah, a bit sad we'll never get to use them properly, but even so, as I run you through the team here, this is just a phenomenal side. It's you know, I would definitely say one of the best teams I've had in this year's FIFA career mode. You know, I've had some brilliant ones over the years we've done here with Brentford, Milan, and Real Madrid in my first project, and then of course we had an Armenia Bielefeld career mode. Our final Bielefeld team was really strong as well, but this is just an unbelievable side. And right towards the end of the Champions League final, I said heading into the final, the reason I felt confident was because I can't see a weakness in this team. By the way, Reece James, I mean, this guy, like, this is unbelievable. Like, he's just incredible in this game. But yeah, you can't really find a weakness with our team. It really is just that strong. And there's very little area to exploit. That's why I felt confident heading to the Champions League final. If I could find a weakness in Real Madrid's side, I felt confident I could beat them. And in the end, we did. But even so, it's a great team. It's a super fun team. What I like about it as well is it's absolutely stacked, but there's still so many like current Chelsea players here, if you will, like Chelsea players in real life too, just for the realistic feel. I really, really like that. Like we said, realism is all about the aim of the game in this save. And I think that the Chelsea team, despite how stacked it is, with the transfer targets they have in real life, but also all these players here, so many of them are actually Chelsea players in real life. It's what made it very realistic. So I can't go anywhere next without showing you Southampton's team, because how could we forget about our Saints? Yes, of course, we were at St Mary's for 3 years after winning them an FA Cup and also having a heartbreaking EFL Cup final defeat. We gave them back-to-back seasons of Europa League football, but I said at the end of season 3, for the good of my career, I needed to move on. And I'd say back-to-back domestic doubles and a Champions League winners medal as well. I think things worked out pretty well for me, to be honest. So I show you Southampton's team, and they really blew it up, particularly this season. Last season, most of the squad stayed together, but this season, particularly in the summer, they just completely blew the squad up. And yes, some players are still there. Tosin, Rico, Nathan Collins, Salisu, now 89 overall. You know, a little fun fact here. If I was going to continue with the save and stay at Chelsea next season, I would have bought this guy to play as part of our back five and drop Ben Godfrey to the bench. Little inside information there. But yeah, they really blew the side up, and they sold so many star players. Ward-Prowse went, Adamola Lookman went, up top they sold Armstrong, they sold Adams. Gareth Bale's now retired, of course, and Ritsu is still there, but For some reason, they were playing holding mid this year, which meant that he didn't really get the best out of him. But even so, it's still a good team. There's still a lot of the youngsters who got out of the academy there as well, but it's not as good as it was. They got worse after he left. Not in the very first season, but definitely in this season. It's not a bad team. Not a bad team at all, but it's a shame they just totally blew it up in the space of 24 months. And we can now take a look at both teams' form in the domestic competitions this year. As we know, Chelsea, Premier League winners. I said this year we could do something special. And a treble is special, don't get me wrong. But I think with the way we started the season off, I thought we were going to break a record in the Premier League. I thought maybe an invincible season, but in the end we had 6 defeats. I think 5 of them came at the bridge this year. 92 goals, finishing 11 behind Man City's goal scoring record. I knew I wouldn't break the defensive record. I'll never do that, especially in this FIFA. But even so, 12 points clear of Liverpool, Man City and West Ham in the end. As he did win the title with a couple of games to spare. Southampton, though, 16th place, 9 wins in 38, 62 goals conceded. Oh, it's such a shame what happened to the Saints over the course of the past 2 years. Of course, we won a Community Shield at the start of the season, so technically it was a quadruple, but I'm not going to count it. Carabao Cup, of course, we got to the final, only to lose to Liverpool. Where have I seen that before? FA Cup, we did win this though, retained it. Of course, I mentioned before, we had a really easy route to the final though, we really did. You know, we had the Football League sides all the way through to the semis. I think, is that right? I think we had a Football League side every single round until the semi. Yeah, Bournemouth round 4 and round 3. I think it was a League 1 side, wasn't it? I can't remember now. Where are we? Can't find us. Where are we in round 3? Oh, there we go. Bottom right. No, it was a Championship side, not in Forest. But even so, Football League sides all the way through to the semi. I talked about it a lot during this series. There's no doubt about it. I get a lot of luck in domestic cup draws in England because of the fact, as you can see here in last 8, there's only one top 6 team in there, and that's us, Chelsea. But even so, won it, beating the Magpies in the final. And of course, as we know, in the European competitions here, the Super Cup this year was won by Inter Milan, beating Villarreal in the Super Cup. As for the Europa Conference League, Royal Antwerp won this on penalties. The Belgian side, go on lads, there were 2 Belgian sides in the Final 4. That's incredible. But yep, they won the Europa Conference League this year. The Europa League this year was won by Juventus, beating RB Leipzig by 3-0. The Saints got knocked out by Benfica, in the last 16 in this competition. And as for the Champions League, well, as we know, we were indeed winners this year. For those that are wondering how Wolves got on, by the way, I think they were the bottom group, weren't they, Wolves? Where are they? There they are, Group F. They got knocked out and went to the Europa League, so they did finish in 3rd and only missed out on their head-to-head record against Sporting, but didn't make it out of their group in the end. But of course we did, and we went all the way to winning it as well. So we'll now take a look at some other leagues in Europe, starting with the English second tier, the Championship. Leeds United dominated this year, by the way. I mentioned before, we had them in the Carabao Cup in our run to the final. They still had some of their star players there. Like Rafinha is still there at this point in the game. It's a really, really great team. So no wonder they dominated the Championship. Burnley are also going to have an instant return to the top flight. It'll be West Brom, Stoke, Blackburn and the Robins in the Championship playoffs this year. Hey, do you know, every time I do the Championship table and Milner in the Championship, I swear they're always in the bottom 3. Not this time. League 1, Luton Hatters are up to the Championship as winners. Lincoln are joining them. Derby, Rotherham, Plymouth and Burton Albion, the Brewers, are in the playoffs in League 1 this year. And as for League 2, Walsall, Colchester and the Stags are going up to League 1 with Cheltenham, Bradford, go on Newport County and Cambridge United in the playoffs as well. Gavin Humphreys leading his team into the playoffs of League 2. A little bit different to what we saw in our save. Ligue 1, no surprises here. Paris Saint-Germain absolutely dominated, winning the league title by 19 points. No shocks there in French football. As for the Bundesliga this year, Borussia Dortmund pit Bayern Munich to the title, finishing 2 points clear of Bayern this year. Very interesting indeed. Go on, Borussia Dortmund winning the Bundesliga this year. As for the Serie A this year, that was won by Napoli. Napoli always do so well in my FIFA career modes in the Serie A. Not quite as well in Europe, but in the Serie A, they're always either going for the title or a top 4 place. Fair play, there's Serie A title celebrations at the Stadio San Paolo this year. And as for La Liga, we'll actually just do the Eredivisie first. The Eredivisie won by Ajax, no shocks there, only 1 defeat all season long, winning the Eredivisie this year. As for the Liga Portugal in Portugal, Benfica were champions this year, Porto runners-up and Sporting in 3rd. Have you ever seen a different top three in Portugal? I don't think I have. Benfica, Porto, Sporting. It's always in that, not always in that order, but always those three going for the title. And as for La Liga, as we shall get to it now, no, Scottish Premier League first. That was almost Celtic. Oh wow, Rangers finished third. Wow. Europa League finalists this year pushed Frankfurt to a shootout, but Rangers third in the Scottish Premier League. Hibernian, runners up. Fair play. I know they've got a couple of good youngsters, including Josh Doig, the young left back, but even so, rarely ever see Rangers or Celtic outside the top two. Well, now I have, interestingly enough. But as for La Liga, as you can see, Atletico Madrid split the El Clasico, boys. Barca in second, Real Madrid in third. And whilst they might have got knocked out of the Champions League semis by Real, at least they won La Liga this year. Any other leagues to do? Let's do the Turkish leagues right towards the bottom. There we go. We'll end on that. Fenerbahce Championship. Whoa, dominated as well. 23 points clear of Besiktas. Only one loss all season long. 25 goals conceded and 85 scored. That's a dominant Turkish league for Fenerbahce. They'll love that one. So I don't think there's much else to show you though. What I am going to do is show you a few teams in world football right now. A few of the bigger teams. We'll also look at a couple of good new gen / regens as well. So we'll start off with, well, you know the English teams. We'll go through them very quickly anyway. This is Arsenal starting 11 as things stand. As I would often say, when you look at the first 11, you'll see some players playing out of position. This is a common bug in this year's FIFA career mode, and I'm hoping that for next year it gets changed. In fact, I'll go through all of the Premier League sides actually. And if you want, wow, Brentford are coming along nicely, aren't they? If you want, you can just pause the video on one particular team, and you can see how they're shaping up. If they're your side, that's how Frank Lampard's Everton are now looking. Fulham now a 4-star team. Leicester doing very well as well, as we know. Liverpool's team, as we know, has grown fantastically well over the course of the past few years. Man City's now looks like that. The Red Devils, stacked offensive unit and a very, very good midfield trio as well. The Magpies now a 4.5-star team. No surprises, to be fair. They did so well this season in the FA Cup. As for the Saints, like I said, why is Ritsu playing holding mid? What's the point? This is Spurs' team. Very good indeed. With that man up top, Annabelle the Animal, Cristiano Ronaldo's regen. This is West Ham's side. And of course, Wolves now a Champions League team. Goodness gracious me. Ruben Neves still there as captain, and Kevin De Bruyne, the vet, alongside him as well. De Vrij signed from us in the back five too. Oh, it's a great team there. Let's look at Paris Saint-Germain side in France, and also let's do Lyon and Marseille. Lyon and Marseille. Lyon's side now looks like this, as you can see. Very decent indeed. Where is Marseille? There's Lyon. Lyon are here. Where's Marseille? Oh, it's Olympique Marseille, isn't it? Sorry, yeah. This is Marseille's team, and we'll also do Paris Saint-Germain, of course. That's their team now. Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi is still their front three. I'm pretty sure Messi's retiring this year. There's not a lot of change that PSG side, is there? You've got Mark Guehi in there. Kovacic now through the middle with Sandro Tonali as well, to be fair. But even so, not that much change, to be fair, for Paris Saint-Germain. In the Bundesliga, this is Borussia Dortmund side winning the title this year. Our former fullback, KWP, now left back there. Haaland has not moved on to Man City. He's still with Borussia Dortmund, banging them in up top. And this is Bayern Munich side as well. 5-star team. Absolutely brilliant side as well. Manuel Neuer is still there between the sticks, and Alphonso Davies still at left back as well. Where's Leverkusen side? There we are, 4.5-star team. Ooh, looks like they lost Florian Wirtz. I wonder where he's gone to. Interesting indeed. So there's RB Leipzig side. God, they are just so good in this game. They've got such great young talent as well. That's Leipzig side. We'll move on now to Italy, and we'll do a few teams here. That's Atalanta's side. Let's do Inter next. We're at Inter. There they are. 3-5-2. Yep. It's great. Lukaku is still there. We gave him to him this year, of course. Calvin Phillips and Martin Odegaard are through the middle. Very interesting indeed. There's Lazio. There is AC Milan with Jose Guy, who we gave to Milan there. Captain now Goncalo Guedes leading the line, and Harvey Elliott right behind. Also, we knocked them out in the Champions League last 16. This is Napoli's team, by the way. 5-star side now. You've got Andre Onana, the former Ajax goalkeeper, between the sticks. Moise Kean is leading their line. Lorenzo Insigne is on the left-hand side as their captain. This is Juve side, 4-3-3. Dusan Vlahovic is still there with Richarlison and the French forward Guiri supporting. Rabiot, Renato Sanchez, one of my favourite players in the game, and McKennie, the midfield trio. That's an amazing team, isn't it? Furlan Mendy at left back, Van Dijk and De Ligt, the Dutch centre-half pairing, Gunter at right back, and Chesney still between the sticks as well. There's Jose Mourinho's Roma with Marcus Rashford now leading the line and not Tammy Abraham replacing him after we signed him. And let's do a couple more whilst we're here as well. I think I'll show you Celtic and Rangers teams because I know a lot of Scottish football fans that follow me. This is Celtic side, 3.5-star team. Karamoko Dembele is now a starter in the side. Joe Hart is still there. How old is he now? Let's see Hibernian's side, by the way. They're still a 3-star team, but Josh Doig is still there. Interesting. Interesting indeed. You'd say for Rangers, to be fair, that's a whole star better than Hibernian. I wonder why they finished so lowly this year, but even so, that's Rangers team in the game. And let's end with the Spanish teams as well then, shall we? Athletic Bilbao's team, full of lots of players that aren't from Basque. That's always so frustrating. This is Simeone's Atletico. It's changed a bit, but they've still got a few of their star players. Jan Oblak between the sticks. Koke still their captain. Leon Goretzka is now through the middle. Goodness. Kankov on the right, Renan Lodi on the left, and up top, how about that? João Felix and Harry Kane. Very interesting strike duo there. Barcelona's team under Xavi playing a 4-3-3. You've got Ter Stegen between the sticks. Rafael Varane is now at Barcelona. And a midfield trio, Frankie de Jong, Ricky Puig and Gundogan is coming from Man City to captain their side now. With Memphis, Donyell Milan and Ferran Torres, their front three in the team. And let's look at Real Madrid's side as well. They have got, well, we saw them in the Champions League final. A fantastic side. No doubt about it, but this year, didn't win the Champions League for another year. No, it was ours this year, lads. So, there you go. There's some of the big teams in Europe for you. And I can't think of that many things to show you, really, to end today's episode. I will take a look at my career section before we end today's episode. But I'm going to show you some good new gens and regens in my global transfer network scouting instructions. I'm not against doing a video, by the way, where I show you what my transfer network scouting instructions are. They're very similar year after year, really. I was looking for a class centre-half this year. In the end, I chose Bastoni, and he's the guy that got we scouted. But the other two I normally always go with are players that are first-team quality with their deal only 1 year remaining. Because as we know, if you're 23 and older, you can sign a player on a pre-contract in January, aka a free transfer for next season, if they're 23 or older. But also, if a player has a deal that come the end of the year, you can normally get him on the summer on a much cheaper deal as well, for around valuation. So I always have that instruction there to see what players are the deals that come the end of the year, looking for bargain buys. And the other one is the promising tag as well. Really, I should just drop the age range from 16 to 50, but because it's promising, it won't show me old players anyway, so it kind of renders that that criteria meaningless. But even so, as I show you the promising tab here, you'll see this is Cristiano Ronaldo's regen. You would have seen him mid-season. He tore me apart with Spurs this year. He's incredible. 20 years old, and look at those stats. At 6'2". My God. This guy could be just as good, if not better, than a real Cristiano Ronaldo. Goodness gracious. This is Miguel Miranda, a holding mid who I had on my free agents list a while ago. He's now being snapped away Hamburg. This, I believe, is the regen of Luis Suarez. It is Espinosa. Really, really solid young Uruguayan forward. But that's all I've got in the promising tab, because unfortunately, our team is so good that unless the players have potential, which is really solid, they won't get picked up by the game scouting. They need to have a good enough potential to mirror the players you've currently got. Miranda's only on there because I scouted him naturally. That's why there's only two, because these two here could be as good as the current crop of players we've got. Because our squad is so good, it's hard to find other players that are new gens and regions. But I do know a couple that I'll show you, including the Liverpool centre-half. One sec. There's two really good young defenders, new gens at Liverpool right now, and they're both Italian, funny enough. You've got Ferretti, who's 20 years old, 83 overall, looks absolutely brilliant. And there's one that I was actually scouting in the summer. He was at Newcastle, and then Liverpool signed him before I got the chance to. It's Umberto Lombardo. I was going to sign him ahead of Bastoni, but in the end, this guy went to Anfield, so I chose Bastoni instead. Don't regret the decision or anything, but even so, really good centre-halves. There is a left-back at Newcastle as well, that you might have seen had you watched the FA Cup final. Where is he? He's a Dutch left-back who's really, really solid there. He is 83 overall, 20 years old. I don't actually know where the other class new gens and regens are. Like I said before, it's harder to find them now in FIFA Career Mode because of the intenseness. No, the tough. No, what's the right word I'm looking for here? The specificness, I don't know, of your scouts. They often won't find players like this if your team is so stacked like ours is. But there are a few scattered around the leagues right now, and there's a few in the Premier League. But even so, I think what we'll do is we shall end with the My Career section with Chelsea. Of course, our objectives this year, my manager rating only 76, despite the fact that I hit one of my youth development objectives, hit the brand exposure objective, hit both my domestic and continental objective, and the finances are going up quite nicely as well. This Chelsea board, man, they have never liked me, have they? But we'll end with the My Career section in the end then, and take one final look with Southampton and Chelsea and what went on throughout the entire season with a recap. As we know, in the first season with the Saints, we spent big on Ritsu down, but it's safe to say that investment definitely paid off. A solid first season, I would say, with the Saints, finishing in mid-table and going to the FA Cup semi-finals, I believe, in season 1. I think that was how we did it, was it? I think it was a semi, or it might have been a quarters. It was a quarter, wasn't it? Yeah, we just missed out on Wembley in the first season, quarterfinals in the first season. In the second season, though, we narrowly missed out on a Champions League place, finished 5th place in the end, but we did get to the semis of the FA Cup, only to lose to, well, the team we're at now, Chelsea, and did reach the Carabao Cup final, only to lose in heartbreaking fashion to Man City in the final few stages, battle back from 2 goals down, only to lose it right at the end. But the third season in the Europa League, I thought we did alright, to be fair, in the Europa League. Got to the quarterfinals in our first year in Europe, and whilst we were knocked out early in the Carabao Cup, we did win our first major honour of the save, winning the FA Cup with that Gareth Bale penalty. That'll be in the best bits episode coming tomorrow, don't worry about that. And of course in the Premier League as well, we actually dropped to 7th this season, so we actually had a worse season in the Premier League than the season before, but it was still a European finish, and of course winning the FA Cup guaranteed Europa League as well. But for the following season, I decided to move on to Chelsea. They had an abysmal season under Thomas Tuchel. They pulled the trigger, they sacked him, they said, "Docs, do you want the job?" I said yes, and of course I think we had a great season in our first year last year, and I can't believe the board didn't agree with me. Okay, got knocked out early in the Carabao Cup, but they asked me to win a domestic double, and I did it. What more could I have done? The board were considering sacking me with so many performance review meetings getting scheduled towards the end of the season whilst I was chasing a double. Talking about putting on the pressure, man. Seriously, but we held off the pressure and managed to win that domestic double in the very first season. And as for this season, asked to win the treble, whilst it doesn't show up at the top there, you can see winners of all 3 of the big ones, Champions League, Premier League, and the FA Cup as well, retaining our domestic double. I also picked up a Community Shield, not to really care about that. The only thing that would have made this season perfect is if I didn't lose that EFL Cup final to Liverpool. But since this save is all about realism, I guess it was quite realistic after losing 2 domestic cup finals this year to the same opponent. Yeah, it's not a surprise, it happens in the game as well. Yeah, Liverpool beat us in the Carabao Cup final, but we still did win a treble this year in our final season of the save. So in the end, with Chelsea and Southampton, I won 2 Premier Leagues, I won 3 FA Cups, and I won a Champions League as well. My biggest win came this season, a 7-1 victory at Molineux, and my biggest defeat was with the Saints. We got thumped, absolutely thumped by Liverpool, 5-0. My record transfer fee wasn't even mine as well, funny enough. That's on Dembele, but I didn't sign him. The game had signed him the previous season, so that's such a shame. It's not my record transfer fee. I think my record transfer fee would have been Bastoni, 97.5 mil. Yeah, I think it would have been. So there you go. Still, 262 games in total, 157 wins, 53 draws and 52 losses throughout the course of my career. 5 major honours, no, 6 major honours plus a Community Shield as well, if you want to count that in what was a really, really fun career mode save. I have to say, I had an absolute blast with this one, guys, and I really do want to say, as I end the season and the save off, thank you so much for your support, because it's been incredible. You know, I talk about it a lot. Realism in career mode is just so hard to maintain, because we know the AI transfer market is crazy. We know AI does very obscure, weird things with the teams, but I did my absolute best in this save to keep it as realistic as I possibly could, including leaving Southampton where they were, because it wouldn't have been as realistic to get them into the Champions League and compete with Champions Leagues. That's why I moved on to Chelsea. It was realistic because they wanted me before. I think I did as good as I could have done with the realism of this save. Yes, I might have made one or two questionable decisions, but I am human. I'm going to make mistakes every now and then. But what I really loved was the support from you guys from the very first episode was absolutely fantastic. You really appreciated how hard I tried to keep it realistic, and you seem to really enjoy both the struggles and the good times with both teams in what was such a fun project. Guys, thank you so much. The support on this save was great. I really do appreciate it, and I really am thankful for your love and support once again. So, that is it for me. That is it for the save. Thank you so much for watching a realistic career mode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this save. One of my favourite career mode saves in the modern era of FIFA, if you will. Have a fantastic day. Much love to you all. We end it there, but I will be returning tomorrow with a one special series finale, if you will, where we look at the best bits of the save throughout all 5 seasons with Southampton and Chelsea. Lots of moments to choose between. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you once again for all the support throughout the series, guys. It's been amazing. Much love to you all. I'll see you for the series finale coming tomorrow, the best bits of the save, and on Saturday morning, let's begin a brand new career mode. Have a great day. Much love, and I'll see you for the series finale and the new career mode very soon.